I'm standing on the Cowboy Trail south of the intersection of Highways 275 and 20 in Holt County, Nebraska. The Cowboy Trail runs 195 miles across northern Nebraska, following the old Chicago and Northwestern Railroad route from Norfolk in the east to Valentine in the west. The railroad called this the Cowboy Line, and this particular spot was the location of a town and a Catholic church. Stafford is an unincorporated community in Holt County, Nebraska. A post office was established in Stafford in 1882. The community was named for Michael Stafford, a railroad official. In the 1890s, Stafford boasted at least 50 inhabitants. There was a grocery store, general merchandise store, and a small drugstore. There were several big hay barns and a livery service. There were 2 daily passenger trains going both ways 2 times each day. Also, freight ran from Fremont to Pine Lodge at frequent intervals. Stafford shipped about 35 cars of hay a month and contributed its bit to the distinction of being in the hay center of the world. Before a church was built, Monsignor Michael F. Cassidy, the second pastor of St. Patrick in O'Neill, came and held services in the Peter Ryan home. Monsignor Cassidy wrote that in the winter of 1890 to 1891, a nice frame church, 22 by 36 feet, was erected at Stafford, on the eastern side of the parish. Mass was celebrated there once a month. The first mention of this parish at Stafford in the official Catholic directory is given in 1892, calling the church Sacred Heart. The location of the church is labeled on a 1915 map, though on there it's called St. Mary's Catholic Church rather than Sacred Heart. This discrepancy in names is also found in the official Catholic directory, as the Stafford Church is listed as St. Mary from 1896 to 1898, and then back to Sacred Heart from 1899 to 1932. In 1902, St. Teresa in Clearwater also became a mission of O'Neill along with Stafford. Mass was then celebrated in Clearwater and Stafford every second Sunday. Monsignor Cassidy commented, "Our people in each of those places are prosperous, energetic, and with few exceptions, punctual in the fulfillment of their religious duties." By 1926 and 1927, Stafford had become a mission of St. Peter's in Ewing. Not long after, Monsignor Cassidy relates, the mission of Stafford was temporarily discontinued on account of the decrease in the number of parishioners attending the mission. With improved highways and other roads, these families could now attend St. Patrick's in O'Neill, thereby eliminating the necessity of a priest to come out here to Stafford. At first, the unused church here at Stafford retained its furniture and furnishings, being taken care of by a neighboring resident at Stafford. But as its temporary closure became more permanent, the church was sold to Frank Froelich, who moved it to his farm near Chambers, sometime in the early 1930s. The final mention of Sacred Heart at Stafford in the official Catholic directory comes from 1932. As for the town of Stafford itself, the train depot closed in 1901. The post office was closed in 1938. A newspaper article from the Frontier in 1955 describes Stafford as having become little more than a whistle post. A whistle post is a location where a train driver is required to sound the horn or whistle. Very few businesses mark the spot where once a great deal of business was transacted. Today, all that remains are a few buildings on some farm places. The Chicago and Northwestern Railroad's so-called Cowboy Line had originally been intended to become a direct route to the Pacific Coast, and it was extended as far as Lander, Wyoming, when the railroad ran out of funds. Thus, the line turned into a very long agricultural branch which remained in service until 1992. The Rails to Trails Conservatory then purchased this corridor and donated it to the state of Nebraska for development into the current Cowboy Trail. It was designated a National Recreation Trail in the National Trail System in 2001. For those who traverse this section of the Cowboy Trail today, no sign remains of the town of Stafford or the Sacred Heart Church where the Catholic faithful once prayed. Mass is celebrated today 14 miles away at St. Patrick's in O'Neill and 7 miles away at St. Peter de Alcantara in Ewing.